It's really great to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's uh, it's an interesting year, all right. And just at the beginning of December 2022, I just took a few days away and just needed to just say, Lord, what are you up to? Okay, for those of you who've been for Life is One along for a while, you're kind of looking and going, wow, what's happening? Okay, and sometimes you've got to ask those hard questions. You know, Lord, what are you doing? We used to be like, no, not 80 people or whatever, and we kind of shrunk down, and it's been hard. I mean, as pastors, we're asking the same questions as much as many pastors in the regions are doing because they were always shrinking as well. This question is, where's everybody going? Uh, and a lot of them are just doing online church these days, but there's something about community. There's something about being together that's really important. And as I took those few days away, uh, I said, Lord, have you forgotten us? And he said, I don't want you to give up on anything because I haven't forgotten you. Okay? And it's not the time to give up. But he gave me this word. He said, it's the time to reestablish. Okay? And it was interesting because I've been thinking about Jubilee, but for some reason it hasn't connected that this is the year of Jubilee. And with Jubilee, as Barbara was sharing earlier, we often talk about debts being forgiven. How many of you like the sound of that? Okay. With prisoners being set free. It's all about this freedom thing. But you have to realize for 50 years, the people who are not prisoners, okay, the people who have no debts, all right, what happens now? Because they're forgiving all the debts, it's actually a time of reestablishment. It's about resetting, okay? And I feel the Lord has given us this season, and 2023 is about reset, reestablishment. And what I mean by that, it's sometimes you kind of go, oh, do I have to do this all over again? No, no, no. God is doing something new. And the issue is, and some of you know I coach businesses and so forth. One of the things I often say is that there are 5 stages in a cycle of a business. The first thing is the entrepreneurial dream, where you have the dream and you start and you say, I've got this idea. The second one is the emerging stage, where you begin to bring everybody together and start doing it. The third one is the establishing stage, where you launch everything and it becomes part of the market. But the fourth stage is what we call the erosion stage. Okay? It's where things kind of plateau, things kind of go down a little bit. And a lot of people in the establishment stage, because that's where you're successful and you want to kind of stay successful, but you need to understand that in every cycle there are moments where we have to understand things that worked in the past don't necessarily are going to work in the future. Are you with me? And it's at that point that you come to have you noticed these are all E's? So it's like entrepreneur, emerging, establishing, erosion. The fifth one comes with 2 possible E's. One is exit, okay, which is time to go, bye-bye. Saranara, I can't remember what it is. Okay. Or the next one is enterprise. In other words, you've made a foundation, you've got something good. Okay, how many know we got something good here? All right. You've got something good, but you might need to just look at it and see it in a slightly different way. Okay. And in that process, the Lord took me back to um, Isaiah 58:12, which for those of you who've done the accelerator, it's the foundation for the accelerator. And it's the verse that says this, if it comes up, your people will rebuild the ancient ruins. Okay, your people. Everybody say, I'm a people. Okay, look at the person next to you and say, you are the people. Okay, your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations, and you will be called repairers of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings. Okay, and this reestablishment year, God is asking us to rebuild, to raise up, to repair, and to restore. Okay, and in that process, I felt the Lord was going to do this in several ways that we're going to not just see it in terms of a church, but start seeing it in individual lives. Okay, as we were worshiping, when I was getting you all to kind of lay those things before the Lord and you're surrounded, I literally saw a number of you, and I felt the Lord for you, Joy, for you, Maria, for you, Jennifer. I heard the word God is resetting and reconnecting. Okay, these are resetting times, reconnecting times, and restoring times. So this year, you're going to see things that were broken restored. Okay, I want to just, if you can receive that, Things that were broken, restored. They're going to be things both within relationships, but also there are things that internally within your heart that I feel that was broken years ago that God's going to restore. And in that place, they'll be repairing. And the ancient ruins, the foundations, is the inheritance that you've lost. And God is going to restore this year inheritances that you may not have necessarily seen. Okay. The other thing that was before you get to Isaiah 58:12. Okay, when we're talking about reestablishing, as God is doing this, this is something. The way I feel is like something's being strengthened inside of you, rebuilt inside of you. And I want to say this for the church generally. Okay, sorry if I jumped the gun a little bit, JP. Okay, but I felt it was kind of relevant to what I was saying. It says, if you spend yourselves, and this is for Carol and sorry, Evelyn. I was going to call you Emily. Oh, sorry, Carol and Evelyn. Prior to that, and if you spend yourself on behalf of the hungry, satisfying the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness. There's going to be more light rising over you guys this year, okay? And your night will become like the noonday. So it's almost like there are things that are kind of vague and things that are a bit dark. This year, there's going to be light, okay? It's almost like there's going to be this emergence of light that will come. And for all of us, verse 11, the Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land, and you will strengthen your frame, okay? And you will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters will never fail. How many of you would like to receive that? Okay? And then it says your people will rebuild. All right? And I want to encourage us this year because I really feel like there's this resetting, okay? But before resetting, the year of Jubilee allows us to do a lot of reassessing, okay? So don't just build on what you built on because you've got to reassess what's good for this season and what's not. Okay? Because something worked in the past, like I said, doesn't mean it's going to work at this time. It was great in the past, so don't say it was wrong. But the reality is that God is doing something new, okay? And when something is new, the hardest thing to do when God is doing something new is to change, okay? Because we like what we like. How many of you know that's true, okay? And so in this process, as I close here, I just want to declare over us, this is a year of reestablishing. And so over this take the month of January, okay, as we're moving into this Jubilee year, okay, that take time to reassess. Reassess what is working, what's not working, where the gaps are, okay? And as you begin to reassess, then you're going to reset. And when you reset, it's going to solidify and strengthen. And when we re-strengthen, then we're going to start seeing the reconnections where things are going to be restored, repaired, okay? And then we're going to rebuild, and we're going to see God do some pretty amazing things this year, okay? I believe that this is going to be a year of testimony of the extraordinary, okay? All right, we're not going to be talking about, this is what God did 5 years ago with Life as One, okay? Even though that would be nice to, those are good stories. Okay, this is 2023, okay? And the last thing I want to say about 2023, the number 23 kept jumping out of me during worship. You'll like this number, Aaron. Okay, who wears 23? Who's been wearing 20? LeBron James. Yeah, oh yeah, he's wearing, I know, but when he was in Cleveland. He was 23. The other person who wore 23, Michael Jordan. Okay. And the Lord is saying to me, look to go higher. These guys are known to be the king, the top of their sports, okay? And God is giving us the number 23 this year, and I don't know why he said it to me. He said, look up famous people who wear 23. And I think LeBron does that. Then I realized Jordan did it as well. Because we're soaring, okay? This is a season to soar, to go up, and to slam dunk, okay? There are things that are going to happen which simply, it's like a no-brainer, boom, okay? And God's going to lead us in that way. So 2023, get ready to go up, okay? But in the process, get ready to rebuild, reassess. And I'm actually, the number that I'm getting is 2025 is going to be something extraordinary if we get 23 and 24 right, okay?